welcome to Capital City News, your source for staying informed and engaged with Salt Lake City government. I'm your host, Brian Young with Salt Lake City TV. On our episode today, we spoke with Nicole Salazar-Hall about openings on the Racial Equity and Policing Commission. Our History Minute is about the Broad Axe, an early black newspaper in Salt Lake City. Before we get to those, though, we're going to take a look at our legislative update, then we're going to take a look back and a look ahead.
At its November 9th meeting, the City Council selected Victoria Petro Eschler to fill the vacated council seat in District 1. Received a presentation from the Mayor's office about proposed uses of American Rescue Plan Act funding, approved a new test program to donate some city computers to benefit disadvantaged communities to bridge the digital divide, and received an update about issues related to COVID-19, homelessness, racial equity in policing, and more. To learn more, visit slc.gov/council. Mayor Mendenhall recently announced a major milestone for the city's ballpark neighborhood. Beginning in December 2020, city leaders engaged a wide array of community stakeholders to help develop a comprehensive neighborhood plan. That process resulted in the creation of a long-term vision for the future of the ballpark neighborhood. In addition to sharing details about the exciting vision and innovative ideas that have emerged from the ballpark neighborhood planning, the mayor outlined some of the top priorities she'd like to move forward quickly once the plan has been finalized. To learn more, visit slc.gov/station area plan. Pastor France Davis Way signs have been installed on Harvard Avenue between State and Main Streets in honor of local longtime pastor and civil rights leader, Reverend France Davis. Friends, colleagues, and church members of Pastor Davis began the process of petitioning for an honorary street renaming in 2019, when they wanted to honor the religious and community leader following his retirement after 46 years. The Salt Lake City Council adopted the petition for the honorary renaming in August of this year. As autumn changes and the leaves begin to fall, remember to do your part to keep them out of the gutters and storm drains. If you need to, you can request extra yard waste cans to handle the extra debris. To get your extra bins, visit slc.gov/sustainability. The best way to defeat COVID-19 is by getting vaccinated and ensuring those around you are vaccinated too. Thankfully, there's great news from the FDA and CDC this week. Vaccines for COVID-19 are now available for kids aged 5 to 11. To set up your kid's appointment, visit the Salt Lake County Health Department website.
For our interview this week, I spoke with Nicole Salazar-Hall about the important work the Racial Equity and Policing Commission is doing and how you can join them.
The purpose and vision of the Racial Equity and Policing Commission is to create a law enforcement agency that all Salt Lake City citizens, residents, and guests can feel safe turning to. We're a diverse 15-member group. We come from all walks of life and education levels. We all have strong ties to Salt Lake City, either through working in Salt Lake City, living in Salt Lake City, going to school in Salt Lake City. We meet once a month. Subcommittees meet more frequently, depending on the subcommittee and what work they're doing. We're always looking for new commissioners to join us in our work. And to be eligible to serve on the commission, you have to be at least 16 years or older. You have to have strong ties to Salt Lake City by either being a resident of Salt Lake City, working in Salt Lake City, owning a business in Salt Lake City, going to school in Salt Lake City, or being highly involved in a community organization based out of Salt Lake City. And you have to commit to a 2-year term. You can be of any sort of walk from life. You can be an individual who is concerned and interested in policing in Salt Lake City. You can be an academic who has spent your life's work on dealing with policing issues. You can be someone who is knowledgeable on diversity, equity, and inclusion. You can also be someone who's just interested in policy work. We're looking for really every voice, every perspective to help us make Salt Lake City a better place. We would love to have you apply. And to apply, you can either go to the Salt Lake City website, www.slc.gov, or you can email us at repcommission@slcgov.com.
Now it's time for our History Minute. Julius Taylor was born a slave and was eventually freed. He apprenticed in the newspaper industry for many years before moving to Salt Lake City with his wife, the visual artist Anna Imogene Taylor, in 1895. While she worked teaching art classes and operating an art studio, she supported her husband as he launched The Broadaxe. The Broadaxe was a paper by and for Black Utahns, published weekly. It differed from other newspapers in the area because it didn't exactly contain news, but focused more on editorials written entirely by Julius. These took aim at the local political establishment, the plight of blacks, and pleaded for racial tolerance and equality. He was an atheist who clashed with the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints on their policies, but advocated religious equality. In the pages of the Broadaxe, he also advocated for Black Utahns to get representation in the state legislature, something that wouldn't happen for another 80 years. For 4 years, Julius Taylor published the Broadaxe in Salt Lake City, but in 1899, he and his wife decided to move away from Salt Lake and head to Chicago. There, Julius continued printing the Broadaxe until 1931. In all that time, he helped establish organizations for black newspaper editors and was a constant critic of injustice against blacks. He also devoted more coverage than any other black newspaper of the era to support the founding of the NAACP. Julius Taylor passed away in 1934, but his legacy lives on through the historical record and the minds he changed during his life. That's it for Capital City News. Remember, the best way to stay engaged is to stay informed. You can do that by following us on social media at SLC.gov, by subscribing to us on YouTube, or watching us on Channel 17. So, reporting in from Regent Street with Salt Lake City TV, I'm Brian Young.